So the Nintendo Switch 2 is a real thing. Let's get into it. What up, y'all? If y'all can't tell by the title of this video, you know we are here to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. A lot of y'all been hitting me up on Discord and Twitter asking me about my opinion on it, so here I am. Yo, if I sound a little crazy, I just bought a new microphone today, the Quadcast 2S. So I'm still kind of getting used to the settings of it. I had the original Quadcast for the longest time on the channel. It has been doing me well, but it was time for some equipment upgrades, and I said, why not grab a microphone? So I'm still kind of playing around with it, still kind of getting used to it. So if I sound a little crazy, give me some time with this mic and we play around with it. But that's not why y'all here. Y'all here to hear my opinion on the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you don't know, or if you've been under a rock, Nintendo shadow dropped the trailer for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I think this is really just a response because I think at CES there was kind of a mock-up thing that kind of popped up, and I think Nintendo was kind of upset about it, so they said, you know what, let's just go ahead and drop the official trailer for it. So we finally got to look at what the Nintendo Switch 2 is, what it looks like, and we got a kind of a sneak peek of one of the launch titles, or presumably a launch title, with Mario Kart being featured in this trailer. So yeah, I'm just here to give my overall thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2 and what I hope to see with this new piece of hardware from Nintendo. So yeah. So the first thing is the Nintendo Switch 2, upon looking at the initial trailer, it just looks like an improved Switch. They really kind of played it safe this time around, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I love the Switch. Out of all the consoles this generation, or I guess half generation, the Nintendo Switch is definitely one of my favorites. I definitely got a lot of use out of it. With me, I travel a lot for work, and I'm going back to school and things like that. So having a gaming console on the go like the Nintendo Switch has been a great thing for me. I've met a lot of people just out and about playing my Switch at airports, in other cities. It's definitely a great console, definitely one of my favorite consoles of all time. So seeing the Nintendo Switch 2 just be better, or just a refinement and improvement over the original Switch, I'm perfectly okay with that. So yeah. Now for this video, I just want to kind of talk about, because I'm not really big into rumors and speculation. I like to kind of talk about things as they're officially announced. But for this video, I kind of wanted to talk about my hopes for the Nintendo Switch 2 as a consumer and a longtime Nintendo fan. So the things that I hope to see with this new console upon release. So let's get into it. The first thing is, they kind of already confirmed this, but backwards compatibility alongside improved performance for past titles. The first couple games that come to mind with this is Bayonetta 3 and also Hyrule Warriors AOC. Great games, some of the best games on the platform, but it does suffer from performance issues. Definitely with Hyrule Warriors AOC, it took me a minute to really get used to the staggering frame rate of that game. When you boot it up, it just drags. And obviously with all the things that they wanted to do with that game, with the effects and the destructible environments, it really struggled to perform well on the original Switch. Now granted, I was able to beat the game and get used to it, but I can only imagine if they decided to go back and make patches for those previous games for the Nintendo Switch 2, how much better and how much smooth that game would perform. And I'd be willing to go back and do a lot of revisits on older games just to see how it performs. Bayonetta 3 is another one. I definitely could tell that there was some drops in frames in certain areas, and just if they had improved hardware, I'm pretty sure that game will run at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second. So I really hope Nintendo goes back and patch some of these games, kind of like how PlayStation did when the PS4 Pro came out, or how Microsoft did when the Series X came out. Just go back and patch them up and just make them run a lot smoother on the newer hardware. So number one, I want to see improved backwards compatibility with previous generation games, and of course backwards compatibility as a whole is great. I have a huge Switch library, so being able to continue to play those games on a newer piece of hardware would be fantastic. So yeah. The second thing, they already kind of confirmed it with the initial trailer, larger Joy-Cons with an improved thumbstick. The Joy-Cons are not meant for man hands, I would say, because every time I hold the Joy-Cons, I just feel like I'm kind of struggling a little bit. So I would love to see new and improved Joy-Cons. As you see now, they have larger thumbsticks. They're magnetic, all that good stuff. So improved Joy-Cons, I would love to see it. So that's my number two thing. All right, the next thing for you guys who love to carry your Switch portable mode, I know I do, especially when I go out of town and go on airports and things like that, longer battery life. Now, I know the Switch battery life isn't terrible, but I would like to see the battery life improve. You know, battery technology is always evolving, so on something portable like this, where people are probably going to carry it portably, I would assume, I would like to see improved battery life on the Switch too. You know, I'm not asking for anything crazy. I'm not asking for like 24-hour battery life. I'm not asking for 18-hour battery life. Give me like a nice solid 8 to 10 hours. I think that's a good point right there. So 8 to 10 hours of battery life. Yeah, just improve battery life in portable mode. Number 4. So the thing is, I would like to see Nintendo kind of play around with more visual technologies. Now, I'm not one of these guys who need Nintendo to like jump on the 4K, 8K train. I don't need my games to be Ultra HD every single rollout. I am one of those guys who prefer solid gameplay and solid performance over visuals. Now, having great visuals are nice. Don't get me wrong. Games like Last of Us 2, Uncharted 4, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 1 and 2, all those games are amazing. And yes, the visuals and the clarity of those games definitely enhance the experience. But when I think of Nintendo and the way that they design their games, and kind of like the art style those games kind of go for, I don't feel like them putting a super big focus on 4K, 8K, and all these like high resolution things is really going to make a difference. As long as the games are very well designed, the games are fun, and they run smoothly, like I would definitely want them to focus on performance over visuals. But I would like to see Nintendo kind of play around with some of the visual technology, such as ray tracing and different lighting techniques and things like that, just to kind of see what kind of output they would get. You know, games like Star Fox and Metroid, I feel like would really benefit from something like that. So yeah, let's just see Nintendo kind of experiment with some of the visuals a bit on the Switch too. That'd be kind of cool. All right, number 5, I'm gonna say more Nintendo Online functionality and features, including more of their backlog. So for the longest time, one of the things that makes the PlayStation and Xbox great is that they kind of have their communities wrapped into it. So you have like things like your achievements, social feeds, so on and so forth. So if Nintendo can kind of adopt some of those things into the Switch too, I think that'd be a great thing for Nintendo, even from a social aspect. So maybe like have Spotify, Apple Music integration, or just have like a social feed. So maybe I want to see what my friends are doing, or see what achievements my friends made in certain games, or even like a leaderboard of some sort, like something that will kind of up the social aspect of having a Nintendo Switch. And also the Nintendo Online service, which is a great thing they introduced on the original Switch. I would like to see Nintendo dig more into their backlog. Maybe bring GameCube and Wii games. You know, for me personally, the GameCube is my favorite generation for Nintendo, so I would love to see them bring some of those OG games back for sure on the Nintendo Online service. And I would definitely pay extra. If they say, yo, if you want GameCube, Wii games, you have to pay the extra tier, I'll do it, because I feel like that generation was Nintendo at its peak for home consoles, at least in my opinion. Another thing, maybe bring over some 3DS games, or maybe not add compatibility, because the 3DS has been out of here for a while, so even buying physical games for that is a hassle, but maybe bring in some of the 3DS games as ports. You know, maybe Kid Icarus, or some of the Mario and Luigi games, or some of the games that are exclusive on the 3DS that a lot of newcomers to Nintendo maybe not had an opportunity to play. So yeah, that's it for that. So the next one is probably gonna be something down the pipeline. You know, me digging into my marketing bag really quick. I would like to see Nintendo roll out different models at different price points for the Switch 2. So just like now with the current Switch, you have the Switch Lite, you have the original Nintendo Switch, and then you have the Nintendo Switch OLED. So at that point, they're reaching their entry-level consumer, their mid-level consumer, and their premium consumer. I want them to kind of do the same thing with the Nintendo Switch 2 and introduce the console at different price points that have different features. Maybe you have like a $299 model for the casual person who may not want to play, you know, may not play that many games throughout the year. They just want something they can just pop Mario and Zelda in and still have a great experience. Then you have the mainline one where maybe you charge like $499 for people like me who, you know, play video games more than often, but don't necessarily want to pay $600 for a console. And then have your premium model for the enthusiasts, the ones who wants the OLED screen, all the cutting edge stuff like surround sound and all that. But just have different models for different people who, you know, may not necessarily want to drop a lot of money on consoles or who wants that premium experience. So, and that's something Nintendo has always been pretty good at. You know, even with the 3DS, they did the 2DS, they did the, you know, 2DS XL, 3DS, they had different models to kind of fit each of that customer base. So I think if they do that with the Switch 2, they got a winner in their hands for sure. Number 7, launch titles. You know, obviously, with the reveal of the Switch 2, they kind of give a preview of Mario. I'm assuming that's Mario Kart 9. And also, it's safe to assume that probably Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be a launch title on the Switch 2. But I just would like to see a strong launch lineup. I want to be able to buy this console day one and knowing that I have a catalog of games that I can dive into day one. Mario Kart 9 with the homies, Metroid Prime 4, get all lost in it, you know, maybe bring some ports over. And then since it's backwards compatible, it's a great way for me to catch up on my backlog because I have a crazy backlog when it comes to Switch games. So maybe that'll give me the opportunity to do that as well. And also number 8, which is obvious, exclusive titles, not just first party, but third party. Bring over some games I can only play on the Switch 2, whether it's from Capcom or Sega, whoever you are. Nintendo, you have relationships amongst all these developers and companies, so I would like to see some games that are strictly for the Switch 2, you know? So some exclusive titles would be awesome. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I wanted to come on and talk about was just my overall impressions of the Switch 2. I think it's going to be a blockbuster console. I think a lot of people have been waiting on it. You know, I can't believe the Switch is 8-9 years old at this point, so it's kind of crazy how fast time flies. So yeah, I just really want Nintendo to knock it out the park with this. I guess my only concern is what are they going to do in terms of marketing, because one issue that the Wii U had, the average consumer who don't really follow video games like that couldn't tell the difference between the Wii and the Wii U, and that was kind of due to the naming issue and some of the marketing materials. So hopefully Nintendo has learned from that mistake and will make marketing materials and videos to clearly explain to consumers what is the difference between the Switch 2 and the original Switch, and letting people know like this is our new hardware offering. So I'm really excited about the Switch 2 as we get closer to the launch window of Switch. I am currently working on like a Switch retrospective. I know I haven't done a retrospective on this channel for a while, but I'm here to tell you I am working on a Switch retrospective and probably won't drop it until we get an official release date for the Switch 2, or as we get closer to it. So I've been working on that, working on school stuff, you know, the usual. So I'm here. But with that being said, guys, I appreciate y'all for sitting here talking with me about the Switch 2. Down in the comment section below, let me know what you think. What are your hopes for the Switch 2? What do you like to see? What are your thoughts? If this is your first time coming to this channel, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy it, and yeah, hope to see you guys soon. Peace.